patient some breaths. So 15 to 20 seconds is normal. So now you have a patient with Shane Stokes, and they, every minute or so, they have a 30-second period of apnea, and then they breathe a lot, and then they have another 30-second period of apnea. What would you do then?
I put it up.
Yeah.
Put it up to 30.
Put up the alarm. Very good. Because you know there's nothing wrong with the patient. It's not like they're in any danger. That's just their breathing pattern.
What causes that? I'm not sure.
Shane Stokes?
Yeah.
It's typical with heart failure patients. I think the mechanism is the increased pressure in the body, puts pressure on the brain, on the brainstem, and that's what leads to that Shane Stokes breathing pattern. Yeah, end stage CHF, every patient will have Shane Stokes breathing.
So you change it to 35, is it?
Yes.
You said 35, right?
Yes. Yeah, increase the alarm, the apnea alarm interval to 35 seconds. Low source gas. Source gas is what comes out of the wall. So we know we have to hook up to 50 psi oxygen, 50 psi air. That's our source gas. And if something happens either to the piping system that's delivering it or runs out of the gas, and we don't have enough gas going into the ventilator, you're going to get an alarm. It's called low source gas alarm. The ventilators can operate below 50 psi, actually. They can operate at 35 psi. But when the pressure of the gas coming into the ventilator drops less than 35 psi, it will start alarming. Or if we forget to hook it up or plug it in, it'll start alarming. And then power input, if we're not connected to an electrical source, or if it gets disconnected, there will be an alarm. Remember to only plug ventilator cords into a red electrical outlet. Red outlets are supplied with a backup generator in case electrical service is disrupted. And then the ventilator inoperative alarm means that there's an internal malfunction present. Remove the patient from the ventilator and begin bagging. And then turn the ventilator off and restart it. Sometimes that's all it needs, is just to be turned off and turned back on, and then it works fine. But if the alarm continues, then replace the ventilator. You take that one out of service, and then you put another one on the patient. If the ventilator resets itself, it is okay to place the patient on the ventilator. All right, let's do this one, and then we'll stop. So for these next few slides, there's like 4 pages. I don't know why it says few slides. Indicate what alarm or alarms would sound. The patient becomes disconnected from the ventilator. What do you think?
Low pressure.
Very good. Low pressure alarm, so write that one down. What else?
Circuit disconnect.
Same thing. Yeah.
I mean, majority of them.
Power input. Low tidal volume.
Low tidal volume and low minute volume. So the low volume alarms will go off. And apnea, ventilation. So everything low with a disconnect, right? Low pressure, low volume.
What about respiratory?
Oh, low respiratory rate? Yes.
Minute volume?
Yes. Low minute volume.
Peep.
Low PEEP alarm. Okay, yes.
Everything.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's all disconnected. All your alarms.
Yeah, that's true. Would you get a high pressure limit with a disconnect?
No.
That makes sense, right? You're not going to have high pressure building if there's a disconnect.
It'd just be very low.
Just low pressure,
Low
low volume. Okay. The inspiratory pressure is 38 centimeters of water, and the high pressure alarm is set at 38 centimeters of water.
The high
The
pressure
high
alarm
pressure
is high
alarm.
pressure.
Very good, high pressure alarm.
Um,
Go ahead.
Would it be cut off?
Yeah, so it cuts off the breath, right? As soon as high pressure is reached, the exhalation valve opens and the breath ends. So what would that do to our delivered volumes?
The low.
Yeah, so after 1 or 2 breaths, you start getting low volume alarms. So it hits the high pressure, that ends the breath, opens up the exhalation valve. Hits the high pressure again, ends the breath, opens up the exhalation valve. You didn't deliver any volume. So after a couple breaths, now you've got a low volume alarm going off. So in your notes, you can write high pressure alarm, but mention this will lead to a low volume alarm also.
Would that change the benefit rate?
Yes,
So both, too?
yes. So low tidal volume, low minute volume.
So at this point, we'd have to check the patient to see if there's anything wrong with what's going on?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it could be a mucus plug, they could be biting on the endotube. When they're coughing, you don't hear any sound because they've got an endotube in, so their vocal cords can't produce sound. But they could be coughing, and every time the ventilator's trying to give a breath, they're bearing down and coughing, and it's trying to give a breath. That can cause high pressure. Yeah, so different reasons for high pressure. All right, so the rest of them you can look on your own, and then we'll go through them next week.
Okay.
I'll grade the test tonight because tomorrow I'll be in those classes all day.
So we're gonna get them tonight?
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
I may lose sleep, but